Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
Look at me, I'm a big shot. I have a phone. I don't wake up in a dumpster every morning. I probably have a pocket to keep my phone in, too.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I think my transmission's broke.
That is the most annoying sound in the world.
Pleased to present for your consideration.
Well, let's start the insanity.
What's the flight situation? Simple. There's no way on earth we're going to get out of here tonight. We'd have more luck playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks than we will getting a flight out of here before daybreak.
John
Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?
Yes, I do. Yes, I really do. I believe that. I know it's not pretty to look at, but it'll get you where you want to go.
Mark, stop it! I don't want to spend the holidays dead.
Honey, please, I'll do the driving, okay? Will you just take it easy, Ellen? I'm in complete control. Get around this egg timer.
All our holidays were always such a mess.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get through it? I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
I don't feel bad for myself.
Jack's my
I
boy.
just feel bad because I ruined everyone's Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's me, Charlie Brown. I
Yeah.
just feel bad because I ruined everyone's Thanksgiving.
No, we made it through Thanksgiving.
That's
We
true.
made it through the day after and the day after that. But it
Well-
was the next day.
Yeah, we can get into that. I'm sure a lot of people listening are wondering because they've gotten bits and pieces of the story, so we can
Right.
certainly get into that whole thing, which is it's
Is
an
that-
odyssey. I
Do
describe
we
it as an
start?
odyssey.
Do we start where we left off? Because I listened back.
You did.
I listened back to our Thanksgiving episode, and we really.
Well, do you
I
want?
think we set ourselves up.
Well, a lot of people said you jinxed yourself, and so today, as we're recording this, I actually went back and I listened to the end too.
Yeah.
And we'll revisit.
Have you ever? So your favorite football team, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Kicker, Butker, isn't it?
Yeah, something. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So my favorite team is the Baltimore Ravens. Kicker is Justin Tucker,
Yeah.
the greatest kicker in the history of the league.
Yes. So I've heard
Yeah.
many times.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Because he is that good.
Yeah.
Set a new record this season already. 66 yards, right, to beat the Lions. But every once in a while, he'll come up and they'll start saying all his stats.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's great. You know, he's done this many in a row from 50 yards.
I know where
He
you're going
never
with
misses. And then somebody else will be like, no, that's a jinx. You can't, don't do it. And then he'll miss. You know, that's the one time all season he misses is when they start propping him up.
And your son, who just walked in the room,
Hey,
who's,
buddy.
doing something for class here, but he is very. He's not a little stitious. He's superstitious.
Yeah, he's not just a little stitious.
Yeah. He's. I've been over there sometimes when he's.
He's
I gotta wear my
passionate.
right socks. And,
Yeah, he's passionate about the Baltimore Ravens, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll say, you know, they'll give all those stats, and you're thinking the whole time, don't jinx him, stop talking about it. Let him kick it, and then give me the stats. And I think that's what we did.
And
I think we gave the stats.
We gave the stats and we jinxed ourselves big time. And not only did it turn into it was my problem, and it turned into your problem. It turned into Zeke's problem. It was everybody's problem, even my dad's problem.
Yeah, it was a big
Everybody
problem.
got involved. And I apologize if I'm burping. Christoph, as we were about to start, he had those 3 magic words.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 3, but do
But they
you
are
want to
ma-
eat at a Chinese buffet? It's more than 3.
Do you want to eat? That's 3. Those are 3 words.
It's better than those 3 magic words.
Right.
But do you want to eat at Chinese buffet?
food
He said, I'm
now.
hungry. I said, okay. You pull around and grab me. Where do you want to eat? I don't care.
Chinese food now. Those are the 3 words,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're having a little follow up. So we jinxed ourselves because we gave the stats, and you have the stats.
Here's the stats. This is where we left off last time, right before, I think a couple days before we went on vacation. Take a listen. So
So hopefully no bad road trip stories.
oh my gosh.
When we get back together.
Nothing worse than breaking down on the road, but
And well, you got 7 people in your car, man.
yeah.
Like, hopefully you just have smooth sailing, and hopefully I do too. Hopefully everybody does, right? The whole family's traveling. Hopefully we just get there, get back, no issue.
So I hope we have no new
No
stories
issues.
next time.
Yeah, we'll just have stories of How much fun our road
A
trips
pleasantry and family and love. That'll be our story.
Perfect.
And that's what happened. We had a wonderful time, a wonderful trip there, wonderful trip home.
Yeah.
And nothing at all. So
It was crazy.
it was a crazy night. So I'll set it up.
And you got to go back to why you were leaving when you were leaving, because you were supposed to leave on Sunday.
Yeah. So well, actually, originally, when we first planned the trip, we were going to leave Saturday, but then Susan.
This is from the East Coast headed back to the
Pennsylvania.
Midwest.
Originally, we went to Pennsylvania, and then we're coming back to Nebraska. But Susan's brother and sister-in-law and their family ended up coming, and they could only stay Thursday to Saturday. So we're like, oh, we want to spend a little time with them, so we'll leave Sunday to come back. I wake up Saturday morning at like 4 a.m, and we still had another day there. But I look at the weather, and there's a big snowstorm that's hitting the northern part of Pennsylvania, and then up into like
lake effect
Ohio,
snow, right?
lake effect snow.
Lake Erie.
I think they were saying 8 to 12 inches. So I woke Susan up. I'm like, we might need to get out of here.
This is on Saturday.
This is Saturday morning, and so we kind of hem and hawed, and we decided, okay, we'll leave at 5 in the afternoon because that's when the other family is leaving, and that's when she didn't want to get out there early. She wanted to.
Well, with her family.
With her
She doesn't
family,
get to see her,
and I get it.
very often.
It's weird to say to abruptly leave when we were planning.
That's how I prefer to leave family.
Abruptly.
Just isn't the Irish exit like you don't even tell people you're leaving?
Dude, I did that at one of my jobs one time when I was working for Lifeway Christian Resources.
That's how you left the job?
Dude, they thought I was working one more day, and I had vacation time, and I just left for the day. I left 2 hours early because I wanted to use all my time.
Right.
Just left.
That was it. The Irish exit.
Yeah, I didn't have any friends there or anything, so it wasn't that weird.
Nothing tying you
nothing
down.
Tying me down.
No responsibilities tying you down at your job.
So anyway, then we get in the car, and it's a nice day in Pennsylvania. Like we do finally leave at 5 in the afternoon, like right on the dot, and we're getting going, and we're about an hour into the trip. We get out of the back roads, and the snow starts coming a little. We're like, okay. Well, we're going to take a southern route. We're not going to go 80 all the way home. We're going to go a little southern. Susan's brother, her other brother was like, he's a truck driver, so he knows the routes. He's like, you want to do this and this? So we're like, okay. And we start going, and we hit probably about maybe half hour before we hit Pennsylvania. It is whiteout conditions. And I'm like, I can't stop yet. On the interstate. And then we start going a little south, and it's just not. It would have been way worse if we would have gone 80.
Yeah.
But it is whiteout conditions. There's accidents left and right. And that time, we're about 2.
And you wanted to leave at 6 in the morning.
Oh, I wanted to leave at 6 in the morning. We'd have been halfway. We'd have been almost home.
Never would have seen the snow.
Never would have seen the snow. And I think the snow is what caused the problem. So we're driving. It's whiteout conditions. And all of a sudden, the D on my dash for drive.
Yeah.
Not donut. The D for drive
donut
starts blinking. And I'm like, I've never seen it do that before. Hey, Susan, look up why is it doing this?
And that's at like 9 o'clock at night or something, right?
Yeah, it's like 9:30. Yeah. And we barely got going.
Yeah.
And it was really we were only about 2 hours away because we were driving so slow. We were driving 25 miles an hour for about 2 or 3 hours at one point in Ohio. So she looks it up and she's like, "Oh, it might be an issue with our transmission." So I'm like, "Oh crap! I don't know anything about cars." So I called Christoph, who was about I was coming into Ohio, and you're like, "Oh, I just left Ohio."
Yeah.
So we're about a state apart.
Right. I'm further west.
You're further west, and I say something's going on. You say, "You know what? Check your trans fluid and am I allowed to say trans fluid, by the way?"
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's frowned upon.
It's got to be.
It could. Transmission fluid.
Transmission fluid. Tranny fluid for short. So
that's more better.
That's more better.
Oh gosh. Canceled.
So I call you and you're like, you know what? You need to check your transmission fluid. You need to pull into a Walmart. If they have it, here's the kind that you get. You did all the research for me. And I get there and we find the Walmart and it is coming down. Like it's snowing so hard. I'm like, okay, I got to do this quick because I got to get back on the road or we're going to get stuck. I don't want to get stuck. In the meantime, I call my dad, or my dad called me because I think maybe you texted him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He called me and he's like, hey, maybe you should just pull over for the night. And I probably should have, but I didn't because I just wanted to get home.
Well, because I know that feeling. Like you have not made good time.
No.
Right? You've been in the car for 4 hours, but you've not really traveled.
The
4
night is
hours
still
away,
young.
right?
Yes, it's snowing. Yes, there's accidents left and right that
But
I'm
you're
veering around.
You feel like you're going to get past that snow, and then you're going to make some good time.
And I feel like I might as well have stayed if we were going to, not make it this far.
Right.
Yeah. So I got to get some
You gotta
traction
get
on the strip.
you got some traction on the strip.
Got to do it.
Pump it up and shoot for it. I was
So-
going to say some miles under the wheels,
Yeah.
but traction on the strip. I like that better.
Yeah. So I go into Walmart and I look for probably 20 minutes for this fluid, and it wasn't where it was supposed to be. And so finally we found it. They only had 5 of the quarts. You told me to get like 5 or 6. So I go out and I check the transmission fluid, and I don't know that transmission fluid is red. I don't know that it's fairly clear when it's hot.
Yeah.
All this. So I look at the dipstick. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing on here. And the snow's coming down, and I'm in a rush. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing on here. So I'm trying. I got the smallest funnel they got, and if you know anything about transmissions, which I don't, the hole to put it in is like real small.
Well, you have a couple options, but you can put it in through the dipstick, which is small.
Excuse me, there's a couple options?
There's a couple options.
I didn't know
There's
this
another one that's harder to get to on that particular car. And
Gotcha.
And you'll burn yourself getting to it when the engine's hot.
Don't want to do that.
So that's why I recommend
So
it.
snow's going down. I pull my son out of the car, and he's out there in a t-shirt, and I'm trying to angle the funnel just right so that the transmission fluid just kind of gently goes.
Because it doesn't fit. It's not fitting inside.
Doesn't fit inside. It's too big.
Hole.
Got the smallest one they had at Walmart, and I'm trying to angle it.
So it's snowing like crazy.
At one point, we get 2 quarts in.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we'll get one more in. And I looked. Actually, Jesse, my son, looked down. He goes, "There's stuff all over the ground." And I looked down. It's just blood red because transmission fluid is red. That's when I learned that transmission fluid is red. So I'm like, oh crap! I have a hole in my transmission. I don't know. I got something going on that's deeper. Really, it was just leaking out. We found out later. So anyway,
overfilled.
I get back in the car. Oh, and the other thing. So as we're pulling off the exit to find that Walmart, I hear boom, and our windshield wiper just flies off. It starts scraping the windshield. I mean, it was just the perfect storm. So then I'm trying to see to get into the Walmart, and I'm like,
but let me paint the picture of what your vehicle looks like, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so you guys are loaded down. There are 8 seats in your vehicle, right? There are 7 people in your family.
Yeah.
That 8th seat is just like all your stuff, pillows, blankets, like snack foods for the trip. Whatever luggage didn't fit in the back.
Oh, it's piled up. Yeah, I mean, it was in our passenger seat, and it's
stacked
just
and packed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking up more space than a body.
For sure.
And then on the back of your vehicle, you have that trailer hitch that you installed.
There's no trunk space in a Pilot.
No trunk space, and you guys are loaded in there.
Loaded.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
And we'll get to my part of the story, but I will say I am so impressed with how your kids travel.
They do all right.
They spent
for the most part
a full day with me.
Yeah.
Right? I was, for as young as they are and for as packed as they are in that vehicle, it's impressive. So you're loaded down, piled high, in the snow, pulling into Walmart, windshield wiper blows off. You're trying to fill it. You're seeing maybe I got a serious leak in my transmission because it's all over the ground.
And eventually I move the car to make sure that it's not leaking when I put more in.
Right.
And I go back into Walmart. I get a siphon because I'm trying to figure out a way. Maybe I'm just not getting enough fluid in here. Yeah. I want to make sure I have enough fluid before I start this trip.
Yeah.
And I get a siphon. Doesn't work.
Right.
But, it's probably user error, but it's not working. The siphon came in handy later, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
So then I'm all red and sticky, and I just throw everything in the passenger seat. I'm just done. And we've been there for an hour and a half now, I realize. It doesn't feel like it, but we've been there an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah. So it's slow slog, 25 miles an hour to get there.
We hit the road again because I get back in the car, turn it on, and the D is no longer blinking. So I'm like, oh, problem
Fixed
solved.
It. Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So we get driving, and it's real icy, real snowy, real bad for 4 hours at least.
And you're in Ohio.
We're in Ohio. Yeah. It didn't stop till towards the end of Ohio. And I noticed somewhere in Ohio, I start feeling a little every once in a while.
Right.
It almost feels like your tires are not aligned.
Yeah.
And it's just like and it stops. And it would stop for 10 minutes. And then and then I noticed I think we hit Indiana. And I'm just trusting my GPS at this point, and I thinking it's taking me the right way, which it is, but it ended up taking us south, and then it took us way up north for some reason.
Yeah.
That's when, anyway, I'll get to that part.
Can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
Hey, you can roam around wherever you want. You can be in front of that camera if you need to.
Yeah.
All right. Zeke's behind the camera right now doing some photography, so just letting him know that he's got free reign.
Free reign.
Before you continue on,
yes,
and remember where you were. You walked in here with. You walked in here. My son walked in here with a Snickers ice cream cone.
Oh boy!
Did you bring 3 Snickers ice cream?
2.
Yikes!
Okay,
2 and ate both.
Listen, the thing is, it was 2 for 1.
He should have to eat some spicy chips for that.
So 2 for 1 is 4 for 2, which would have been plenty.
You got more money than all of us in this room. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys might be 2 broke dads, but I'm just a broke dad.
You're son of a broke dad.
Son of a broke dad. Son of a.
All right, so please continue.
I don't remember what it was. Oh, so we hit the road.
You're crossing Ohio into Indiana.
Yep, start feeling
right.
And eventually in Indiana, I stop and I get gas. And I notice when I take the exit, it's like dun 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 dun. Just when I turn left, I'm like, I know that's something. My other car actually does that. My old Honda that I don't drive very much, but it does that too. But I still can drive with it. So like at this point, I'm still thinking we're good. You know, we're gonna make it home tonight. It's not gonna stop us. Right. I'll get it checked out when I get home. But at least the transmission's not blinking anymore.
And once you get into the Midwest, it's just flat and straight.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't really need to turn.
So at that juncture, Susan takes the wheel. I go to sleep for about an hour. And during that hour, we end up going pretty far north. I found out later. I didn't realize this at the time, but we went pretty far north. And my whole thinking was, I knew you had stopped for the night at about that time. You had stopped for the night at midnight to, so it would have been about that. So you stopped for the night in Peoria, Illinois.
Right.
Which at that point was about maybe 5 hours from us, 4 or 5 hours. So I'm like, my whole plan is, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get to Peoria. I knew you were staying at the Best Western. I'm going to pull into the parking lot. If I have 2 hours, I'll sleep, and I'll have you check it out with me at night.
Yeah.
Or in the morning when you get up.
Right.
So I wasn't going to wake you up. Like, let him sleep. I'll drive. We'll get there, and Susan can take the wheel. So I go to sleep for a little bit, for about an hour, while Susan is driving through Indiana. And then I wake up, and I'm like, hey, we can switch back. She's like, okay. Middle of nowhere. I mean, you look left and right. It's pitch black. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. She pulls into the next place that she sees, just this random. In the meantime, we've passed hotels, and every time we pass like a little town, we're thinking, should we stop for the night? Should we stop for the night? Don't stop. Pull over. It's 3 a.m., almost on the dot. We pull in. She takes a hard left to do a U-E to stop. And it we can't do anything. It's making the worst grinding sound ever. We know we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we stop. We put it in park, and even in park, it was making a noise at that point. Like, it was just, I couldn't do anything. So I shut the car down, and I'm just sitting there for a minute. I think, it's got to be the transmission. I don't know anything else. It's 3 a.m. I don't want to call you because I want you to get rest.
Well, you're thinking transmission because of how it was blinking.
Yeah.
You Googled that while you were driving.
Yep.
Seemed like the transmission fluid resolved the issue.
Yeah.
Initially. Then it's coming back.
Yeah.
So, right.
So I'm thinking, I'm going to MacGyver this puppy. So I go and I get my siphon, and I get a knife, and I cut it, and I get the old funnel, and I get some electrical tape, and I make like a legit funnel.
At 3 in the morning.
At 3 in the morning in this parking lot. And by the way, this parking lot, lights out. Like basically it's a place that truckers can come and sleep. It's a truck stop too, but it's a tiny, like it's barely a truck stop. Has one shower, and it's open 24/7 except for the 5 hours that we were there.
Right.
That's when it shuts down.
So that's
that's the sign on their door.
Right?
It's 24/7 except for about 5 hours.
5 hours a week they're closed, and that was that when you were there.
And we're like we broke down right in like the entrance. So there a couple times like a truck would pull in and have to, corkscrew to get around us. And so I make this MacGyver thing, and I put more transmission fluid in it, and it doesn't fix the problem. So at that point, I'm like, all right, well, we're going to have to get towed. So I call our insurance, and they're like, oh, yeah, you have roadside assistance for your old 1997 Honda, but not for this one. And I'm like,
the vehicle you're in.
Here's the problem. I sold myself the plan, so I know what I have because I was an insurance salesman. They're like, no, sorry. So then they say, all right, we're going to, it'll be $160. We'll come get the car. I said, well, I need to make sure, like, are you guys coming with a ride for us? We have a family of 7.
Yeah.
It's 30 degrees out. We're in the middle of nowhere. It's the middle of the night. And I had to talk to 3 different people before I finally found out, no, we're not planning to come get you. You'll have to stay there. I said, well, that's not an option. They're like, well, maybe you can Uber. So we're like, okay. let's see if we can Uber. So I call, we figure out, we download Uber because I've never used Uber. My wife has never used Uber. And I find out that you can only take 3 people at a time for regular Uber. And they don't have Uber X, which you can take 5 people at a time. They don't have it out there.
Right.
So we're like, well, our only option is to take 2 Ubers. But that wouldn't work because then 3 kids would have to go by themselves.
Right.
And I'd have to stay with, it just wouldn't work.
You're one too many.
One too many. So we realized Uber's not going to work. So at that point, it's about 4:30, and I've yelled at the progressive people, telling them, thanks for letting my family get murdered in the middle of this parking lot. And then I have to turn to the kids and say, kids, we're not really going to get murdered. We're totally fine. Everything's good. Just had to let them know what's going on here.
Reaction.
Yeah. And they were, they were good. They were quiet, and they were happy. They weren't freaking out. I was freaking out. I kept saying to Susan, what the heck do we do?
Yeah.
Because we're in the middle of nowhere. We don't know anyone. We've since found out that we knew about 2 people that lived in different areas. So
how close?
One was 45 minutes.
Okay.
Barely know this person, but could have called them.
Yeah.
45 minutes away. And then Susan has a cousin that I think is only probably a couple hours away that she's like, I would have totally come and got you. So since found that out, that kind of sucks. But
well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Now next time we know.
We wouldn't have the rest of the story.
We wouldn't have the rest of the story. So, Progressive's not going to come through us. No, nobody's going to come through for us. It's 4:30 in the morning, and I finally break down and say, I got to call Christoph. Got to call my second dad. And I'm not going to call my real dad because he's got to preach that morning.
And he's much further away.
And he's much further away. He can't help me. So I'm like, I don't want to wake him up. And I call you up, and it's like it was you were out. And
I was out.
And I don't know. You go ahead and go into your story.
Yeah. So here I'll bring you from us leaving Maryland to when you called me. We left. I forget what our goal for departure was, like 10 a.m. or something like that. Between 9 and 10. So we're on the road. It's just me, Sonny Boy, Zeke, and my beautiful daughter Eden, and we're set out. And we know that we're going to stop in Peoria, Illinois. Yeah. So we know we're not driving through the night. So we're having fun, right? We're just kind of cruising through, getting off the Eastern Shore. That's when traveling's good. Yeah. Yeah. We stopped. We stopped at the La Piazza Pizza in Graysonville, so my daughter could take a picture. They weren't open yet, but take a picture and send it to you. We stopped at 7-Eleven for Slurpees. Oh boy. Right. And
no 7-Eleven in the Midwest. Well, there are some, but not in our town.
Yeah, not where we are, and definitely not like not prevalent like on the East Coast. Yeah. So we grabbed some Slurpees. I did get a cheeseburger roller bite, which is a cheeseburger in the shape of a hot dog. Oh, that's right, on their little sweat roller machine. It's not great, but I had to get it because it's part of my past. So
the best time to buy something is when it's in front of you.
Yeah, it's hard to buy it when it's behind you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I get the cheeseburger roller bite, and we're just, over the Bay Bridge, checking out the water, talking about the differences and all the, the topography that we're going to see as we travel west before we get to the high plateau and flat and straight. And we're just rolling, and we're just doing we kind of know where we're going to stop every stop. Like, hey, we're going to hit that Sheetz and get sub sandwiches. Right in Western Maryland.
The best trip is when it's based on food, and you're like, oh, we're gonna hit that.
I told you I eat my way through road trips, right? And so we know what we're doing. We've got the seats folded flat in the back of our car.
That's nice.
And Zeke is just laid out. Eden's laid back in the passenger seat. Yep. Everybody's comfortable. I've got music going. We're just rolling, and that's how we went all the way to Peoria, Illinois. Checked into the hotel. But I was nursing the beginning of a sinus infection. That was the only hitch in the whole plan, is that as we were leaving Maryland, I was like, oh, I feel this coming on. And it got bad. So I was pounding over-the-counter medicine.
We since found out it's like a tooth issue, probably.
We don't even know. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm pounding, alternating between ibuprofen and Tylenol, and I'm way over the daily limit in like 6 hours. Yeah. I'm just popping these things like Skittles.
Well, at one point, ahead of the pain. Flash forwarding a little bit when we're in your car, we'll get to that point. But at some point, I look over you, and you're rubbing. You had crushed up a Tylenol. Yep. Oh, you probably did it with your tongue, and you're like, "Yeah, I just rubbed a broken Tylenol on my gums."
Yeah, I chewed a Tylenol up, but kept it powdery and just rubbed it all over my gum. Because it was just I had Oragel because it started like under my eye, but then the pain was going down into my jaw. And so whatever it took, I was struggling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to the hotel at midnight. We all get showers. Everybody's getting in bed.
It's a nice hotel. Yeah.
It's a decent hotel. I was excited that breakfast was going to be included, right? Shower pressure.
You never
was
did get the
awesome.
breakfast. We'll get to that.
My son saved me bacon.
Oh.
Or my daughter.
It was a great breakfast.
Huh?
They didn't have bacon my morning.
Was it you or Eden that said, oh, my daughter?
But I discovered the shower.
Yeah, Zeke found the shower pressure. My daughter is the one. Eden's always looking out for me with bacon.
How do you discover shower pressure?
I don't. He came out. He was.
The best shower I've ever had.
You know, after a long drive, and you get that first shower, it's just
dude.
awesome. So we're all expecting to feel great after that shower. But Zeke got the first shower. He comes out and he's like, "Oh my God! Like you're not going to believe the shower because hotels, you know, typically you're like squatting under for tall guys. You're squatting under the shower head, and your shower pressure's pretty bad, and it's like you're like, did I get all the soap off my body?
Oh, yeah.
So this thing like. This is like the Seinfeld like elephant wash shower. Like this thing is blowing out some water.
You came out of the shower saying,
"How about you, Crystal? When did your juices start flowing?" Thank you for that. So anyway, I'm out of the shower. Kids are like ready to crash, and you know when you're kind of distracted while you're experiencing pain, the pain's not as bad.
Yeah.
So I lay down, and it's just me and the pain, and I'm like, I gotta get up. I can't lay here. And I actually left the hotel. I woke
and this
Zeke
is what
up.
time?
This is at like 12:15.
Yeah.
I said, Zeke, I gotta go do something for this pain. I'm trying to find a liquor store with some high content alcohol so I can swish it.
Yep.
Because I can feel like if I can get rid of the gum pain, I can deal with the face pain, but the gum pain's killing me.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes, right?
It's that panicky pain. That's what I describe it as, a panicky pain.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm just trying to avoid insanity. So I find one store like 11 minutes away that's open till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I roll. No, it's got to be later than that. Like I kind of dealt with it because I got there at 1:45 and they were closed.
Well, you told me you had been rocking in the office chair.
Yeah, I was like sitting in an office chair, holding pillows, rocking, looking at my phone, like something, because I didn't want to pace. I didn't want to wake up the kids by pacing.
That pain is I think it's the worst. I mean, if it's similar to tooth pain, it's the worst pain that there is.
There's just nothing I could do about it. So I pull up to this liquor store. I'm like, all right, I'm going to swish some whiskey, and maybe that's going to like take the edge off. And they're closed.
Oh my gosh!
I take this sad ride back to the hotel. I do the whole rocking thing in the chair for a little while longer. I go to the ice machine at 2 in the morning and fill up the ice bucket at the hotel, and I wrap it in a wet washcloth, and that's how I fell asleep, with a wet washcloth full of ice on my face. And then you called me 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, and that's what you heard. You heard the culmination of all those events in my voice go, hello.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what it sounded like too. And I was like, oh, I did not want to call you because I knew the only thing you're going to be able to do is come and get us. And we were at that point, we were about 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that he can't talk me through anything. I'm an idiot with cars.
We did try, though. We talked through other options, like is there a hotel with a shuttle?
And that's the other thing. So it's Sunday. We called every hotel within about 25 miles, maybe even some farther than that. Everyone like, shuttle? No, we don't do a shuttle.
No.
And anything. Like, I was like, what option can you think of something I can
thinking
do?
Like regional airports. Was there something where there was going to be?
Yeah, I wanted to rent a car.
Yeah.
Couldn't rent a car. And it's Sunday. Every auto body shop is closed.
Yeah.
Because I bet an auto body shop would have figured something out for him. No. Couldn't do anything.
Strikeout after strikeout.
No option. I mean, we called around. Yeah. And
so you spent some time doing that. I spent some time kind of Googling stuff from the hotel. And then you called me back. You're like, I got nothing, man.
Yeah.
And I said, I got nothing either. So tell you what, I'm just going to get ready, and I'm headed your way.
And then you looked at the map and said, why the heck are they so far north? And I wouldn't have been able to tell you.
Right.
Well, here's the cool thing. And I'll get into a couple other cool things. But the place that we stopped, it was a little creepy. And at one point, at 5 in the morning, for some reason, like because they still had some lights on.
Yeah.
It wasn't a well-lit place, but it was a creepy place. At 5 in the morning, all the lights went out. No
so
reason
they're
why.
on all night until 5 in the morning.
I guess. And then it was still dark for 2 hours. So we're just in the dark for 2 hours.
And like your kids aren't sleeping through this, right? They're awake.
No, they're awake
because you're on the phone.
And everyone's hungry. Yeah. Luckily, we were stocked up on food, and luckily we had just got gas about an hour before, so we had warmth. Like the car was running fine, other than you couldn't drive it. Mm-hmm. So we had warmth. Like I wasn't worried about that. Wasn't bad. It was just a bad place, but it was good, and we'll get into why it was good that we pulled over where we did. But the thing that gets me now is I've since looked at the map of where we broke down.
Yeah.
Had we made it 2 hours farther, there is another truck stop, a little more.
2 hours?
2 hours. 2 miles farther.
Right.
There's another truck stop that has like a 24-hour waffle and biscuit restaurant that had good reviews.
Chicken and waffles. Didn't you say they had
24-hour
fried chicken?
What did I say?
You said waffles and biscuits.
Oh, no. Yeah, it was chicken, biscuits, waffles. I can't remember, but it was chicken. They specialize in fried chicken.
I love that when we were going through this earlier, you were like, the thing that upsets me the most is that I didn't get 2 miles further.
Dude, I could have,
not the whole thing about the breakdown in the middle of the night.
It's probably much more well-lit.
You're like, the thing that upsets me more than anything is that I didn't get the fried chicken place.
There could have been a bathroom. We could have made it 2 more miles, but no. And it wasn't as creepy. It was definitely a nicer place. Yeah. Anyway, so we end up there. You come and get us. I couldn't believe how fast. I mean, it was 3 hours, I guess, since it took you to get through more than 3 hours, probably 3.5 hours because you stopped for gas.
Yep.
It felt like this to me, and I didn't sleep. I still don't know why the time went so quick.
Yeah.
But it did, and we were there. All in all, we were there about 7 hours at this parking lot, and it did not feel like it. Felt like an hour to 2 hours. I don't know why, but
that's how stress affects you because you were.
I was stressed, dude.
I heard it from the moment you first called me, and every conversation.
Didn't know what to do.
You were so stressed.
Didn't know what to do. Felt like I had no options, and I normally I can figure things out.
Yeah.
And I was tired because it's 3 a.m. and I've been up since 6 the morning before, so I was already really frazzled.
Yeah.
I couldn't compute. I couldn't think. I couldn't figure out this problem, and it bugged me, and I didn't know what to do because I want to pull you in. I'm like, man, it's gonna be 7-8 hours extra on his trip.
Just to get back to where I was starting.
Just to get back to where you started. Oh, I would never want to do that. So you get there, and you're all freshly showered, and you smell good, and you got nice clothes on, and you're trying to talk me through. All right, what we're gonna do because you check the trans fluid, and you're like, it's way over.
It's way high.
Way high.
It's like 3 quarts over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which means everything that I put in was 3 quarts. So.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't need to ever do that.
Right.
Didn't need to do that.
You couldn't tell
that
that in the snowstorm, right?
Couldn't tell. Probably could have if I was a man, but I couldn't tell. So you are trying to talk me through getting under with my ratchet and finding the right
drain plug.
Yep. And I can't find it. Yeah. And so I'm rolling around in the mud. It's not muddy, but it's not
it's just a gravel parking lot.
It's a gravelly, nasty parking lot. And we're so I can't find it. We're trying different things, and finally you just gotta suck it up and get down. You're like, I got to be the man here. And you get down and you start draining fluid.
Yep.
And you drain it a little bit and then you check it. And so you're having to get up and down and under my car, which doesn't have a lot of room under it. And you're rolling around this red liquid in your nice clothes. And at one point I give you a pillowcase because I don't have anything else for you to wipe it up.
Right.
And we try starting it. It does sound better, but it's still not drivable.
We shifted it. And
I
was like, man, this is not good.
So then we're like, all right, we got to load you all up in my car, and we'll drive back to where Zeke and Eden are at the hotel still. You have left them sleeping.
Yeah, so I woke Zeke up. I'm like, I woke them both up. I said, here's the deal. I got to go get the Kennedys. I got to go get them. They're broke down. There are people. They don't have any other options. They're 3.5 hours away from us.
Could have been a lot worse. We could have been a lot closer too, but
yeah,
it could have been.
I got to go
4
get
or 5 hours. Yeah.
So I think I might have given you guys the option to come with me, but then I couldn't bring all of them back. Right?
Oh, that's right.
But you were like,
well, me and Jesse were going to stay behind anyway.
Right.
We were going to get towed with the car and all that.
So I gave the kids the option. I'm like, you don't have to come. If you don't, I can bring everybody back. And they were like, yeah, we'll just stay here. So I called my wife to make sure that was cool.
Yeah.
Because that's a little weird to leave your kids at a hotel. But, they're Zeke's older teenager, and my daughter is an adult.
Yeah.
And so, it's okay. But it's still a weird feeling to, leave them in this strange place.
Yeah, they don't have a car. They don't have anything.
Yeah. But there was going to be the continental breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They could get after that.
How much money we had altogether.
What's that?
Me and Eden figured out how much money we had together just in case we needed.
Just in case.
So in case you need to Uber, you guys were pulling your resources.
So they figured out how much money they had in case I didn't make it back. I left some cash for vending machines and and figured I'd be back close to checkout time.
Yeah.
And I headed your way. And the reason I was showered and dressed and everything is because I felt terrible.
Yeah.
right? And I thought, I got to get a shower. I got to clean up. I got to make it like, okay, I've only slept 2 hours. I was on the road, or I was awake for 18. I was awake for 20. I slept for 2. I'm going to feel miserable. I should do everything I can to reduce that misery. Now I'm getting up and I'm going to work. That's what was in my head.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because the week before, you know how you meet people and you immediately know the thing they were built to do, or you can see like this guy is designed to be that. Like he was born to be
auto mechanic.
Right.
Yeah.
You're designed to be an auto mechanic.
Sure.
You know the guy that's designed to be like the elite basketball player, the rock and roll guy, the teacher, the preacher. Like
Zeke was born to dance.
He was born to dance. Yeah, he's got moves. Like Jagger, isn't that the thing?
Yeah, I think it's the song.
Does Jagger have moves?
I guess.
Whatever.
He moves like a duck.
We're getting way off track. But the week before, I said to my wife, I think I figured out what I was built to do. And I don't like it. But I was designed to get back up.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's my skill set is I can get knocked down and I can get back up.
And mine is to pretend like I'm down.
But for whatever reason, that's the ability I have.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've figured that out just now, but it was only a week before this whole thing where I was like, I think that I have like one of the things that I'm really good at doing that I was designed to do is in the midst of difficulty, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of hardship, in the midst of getting knocked down, I can get back up and go. And so that was on my mind when I needed to leave, when I felt terrible, when my sinuses are killing me, I've only slept a couple hours. I'm like, you know what? I'm built for this.
Yeah.
And
so
you
had to have left at like
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it was 5:30 that I hit.
Because you got there at a little before 9, and then we didn't get out of there till 9:30, 9:45, something like that.
And the reason I hate that I'm designed to get back up is because that means you got to keep getting knocked down.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I had your way. Your son was dancing in the parking lot when I pulled up.
Well, when the sun came up, they were out like running around. They thought it was awesome. Yeah. I did not. I was still so tired.
But I got out of the car and Tommy, he's dancing. He's doing like that jig move. He says, "Our Savior has arrived."
We all were excited to see you. It sucked, and I felt horrible that you had to do it, but we were excited to see you because it meant we were getting out of this parking lot.
Right.
We had a way out, and so we push our car back into the corner of this parking lot. We leave it there. We lock it up, and we get in your car, and we're rolling and make pretty good time. But at that point, we're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to get the car? And so I call my dad at that point, and I'm like,
You kept saying on our way back to the hotel where my kids were, you said, I can't believe, like we were only halfway, and you're like, I can't believe it took you this long to get here. I'm like, yeah, it's 3.5 hours, man. But it makes sense now because you said it didn't feel that long while you were waiting for me. But you probably said it 3 or 4 times while we were driving back to the hotel. You're like, I can't believe you came.
It was a long drive, but it felt it felt like you drove from, 20 minutes. Like it felt like 20 minutes to me. It's so weird.
For me to get there, yeah.
And I wasn't sleeping. I don't know. I still don't.
You were
delirious.
delirious.
I was delirious. You drove us back. At that point, my dad was planning to come then that evening and rent a dolly, car dolly.
Yeah.
He was going to meet us in Peoria. We re-rented the hotel room so your kids could stay in that room, and then me and Jesse were going to stay back. Right, we were going to stay in the hotel. My dad was going to come meet us. Ended up a guy at our church. So my dad, he's preaching that Sunday morning, and he mentions, hey, we're broke down. Be praying for them. That's all he says. Yeah. This guy in our church had just started coming named Lim. I can't remember his last name. He's a retired guy, and that's what he does. He likes helping people. He happens to have a truck and a big towing,
like a fifth wheel trailer,
like a fifth wheel trailer. And he said, "Hey, I'll go pick him up." So my dad's like, "Okay." So he comes with him. So what they do is they actually take my parents' car and they put it on the fifth wheel.
Yeah.
And they drove it to the hotel. And so my dad really didn't need to come at all. I felt kind of bad for him.
Right.
They dropped that car off, and then he gets out of the car, and it's about 11 o'clock at night. In the meantime, you're still driving. You guys didn't get home until about 11.
11:30 we pulled back.
You had your car packed in with all my family except for me and Jesse.
Yeah.
And me and Jesse are just hanging out at the hotel. At one point, we're going to dinner, and there's a couple places to walk because we didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, we try this fancy pizza place, or we can try this Chinese place. We ended up at Taco Bell. That's what he wanted.
Okay.
So another funny moment, we go to Kohl's and get they don't have any swimsuits, so I get him a pair of shorts because neither of us had shorts.
Oh, because there's a pool.
Because there's a pool,
yeah.
and he's not going to not go in the pool.
Yeah, right.
So
he's 10 years old. And there's a pool you can go swimming in.
Yeah,
right?
we had the place ourselves. There was no one else at that hotel, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we get these yellow shorts, and he jumps in and realizes they're see-through, like
no.
pretty quick. Oh, they were see-through like a mug, like a mug.
Oh,
so anyway, my dad gets there at 11 o'clock. They drop the car off, and the guy gets out, and I haven't met him that I know of, and we're talking a little bit. Oh, I keep jumping ahead. Before that, my dad tells me, he calls me when we're in this Kohl's buying this swimsuit at about dinner time.
Yeah.
He says, hey, we're on our way. We're going to get there at about 10 or 11. Just so you know, when we get there, I'm going to jump out and stay. I'll stay at the hotel with Jesse. You're going to jump in the car and drive the extra 8 hours tonight through the night with him.
And you were totally thinking you weren't doing it till the
I
next
start
day,
tearing
right?
up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I am exhausted. I wasn't able to nap at the hotel for whatever
You're
reason.
stressed out. Your whole family's with me, still driving.
Yeah, and I'm like, I start cheering. I said, Dad, I have been up since 6 a.m. yesterday.
Right.
I don't know if I can do that. And he's like, well, we got to do what we got to do. I'm like, ugh. The good news is about 2 hours later, he called and said, hey, this guy just, he likes driving. He likes doing his own thing on his own time. So he's just going to keep going. And I was like, oh, I teared up again. I was like, sweet mother. I mean, I told Jesse, I said, Jesse, I don't have to go. I don't have to go. It was a whole thing. So so he drops my dad's car off, and he keeps going. But first we're talking, and he goes, so the car's like 3 hours back towards Grand Island, right? Where is it? Do you have an address? And I'm like, it's 3 hours farther. It's in Indiana. He had thought it was closer, even though I had sent the address before. Man. He didn't seem fazed by it. He was good with it. The only thing that sucked was more gas money, which is going to hurt. I haven't got the bill yet. But
yeah, the big truck with the fifth wheel trailer is going to be a little was it diesel? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's even more expensive right now.
Yep. So, but it was awesome.
So if you want to support Josh's automotive repair bill and the fuel receipts that are coming to him in just a few days, you can Venmo at Two Broke Dads.
Two Broke Dads. You can. Because that's going to hurt big time. And
how do broke dads stay broke? This story
right here. But it was so cool that guy came out of the woodwork.
That's awesome, right?
He drove straight there and straight back. Didn't stop.
Yeah.
I offered a hotel
room.
So
that means he had almost 24 hours, right?
Oh, yeah. Easily. Yeah, because he got up and went to church, too. So
he was 30 hours plus.
Yep. He dropped my car off at the Honda dealership that we bought it because in the meantime we found out we thought it was going to be in warranty.
If it was transmission, maybe it's going to be warranty.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah.
So that was another hefty bill.
Right.
But then, we just...
But they fixed it the same day.
The same day.
You pulled up in front of my house that night.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That was crazy.
They did it quick, and they did it for a good price for what it was. Yeah. It ended up being not the transmission, but the...
CV shaft. All the way through.
Which
means... I told you this later that if that breaks all the way through at high speed, you can't control your vehicle.
Yep.
Right. So it broke when she turned into tried to make that U-turn in the parking lot. That's when it snapped all the way through. So what you heard, that clunking sound earlier in the night, was that it was cracked, that the boot was cracked, and it's starting to make that noise. That's that warning, like, hey, you got to get this replaced.
Yep.
But when she made that U-turn in that parking lot and you couldn't
Finished
go any further,
off.
It broke all the way through. And can you imagine that happening at 70 miles an hour and you can't steer your vehicle? Or
on the side of the road. That's the other thing I keep thinking is, like, it could have been on the side of the road and that would have sucked.
Right?
It could have been the interstate.
Yeah. In the
so many different places.
Like,
it sucked being in that creepy parking lot in the middle of the night, but it could have been so worse.
Yeah.
And, that place let us keep our car there till he could come the next day and get it. Like, there's so many different things that, the whole thing sucked, but...
So I think about Providence, right? That there was a lot of things from a higher power benefiting you.
Yep.
In that. Yeah.
And people are going to send me money to cover all my bills, so that's going to be the next miracle that's going to happen.
That's right.
Anyway, so we get back.
Blessings upon you all.
Yeah. You guys get back at like 11 o'clock Sunday night. Me and Jesse spend the night at the hotel and my dad, and then the next morning we get up and we head back. We got back about dinner time, pulled into.
It's like an 11-hour drive or something, right?
It ended up being a 50-hour trip to go about 16 hours.
Yeah.
So
we had from waking up Saturday morning, leaving Maryland to unloading your family at their house. I think I was at 41 hours, and I had slept the 2 hours at the hotel, and then I tried to sleep. My daughter took over driving. My daughter, who saved me bacon at the hotel. Right, she loves me. She got me a plate of bacon. But I had her drive a little bit, but I was hurting so bad that I was like, I can't just sit. I have to drive. So I didn't even sleep, but I rested for an hour in the car. So I went 41 hours with, let's call it 3 hours of sleep.
Sitting in my hotel with a plate of grilled bacon.
Yeah, man. And so that was crazy. So we ended the Thanksgiving episode saying, hey, we hope it all goes smoothly. And it did not.
It did not. Couldn't have gone, well, it could have gone worse.
Yep.
But
it went pretty bad.
It went pretty bad on the way home.
But I'm telling you, I was impressed with my kids. Like, Saturday we're all sprawled out, spread out, enjoying the drive.
Yeah.
And Sunday they
couldn't have been tighter.
Packed and stacked
like sardines.
You even said to me, like,
I felt
okay,
bad.
if Jesse and I stay at the hotel, you can take the other 5. I'm like, if it's me and my 2 kids, I don't have 5 more seatbelts. I didn't even realize that I had an 8-passenger vehicle. I thought it was only 7.
And had we known, because we didn't know at that point that that they were going to bring my mom's car, my parents' car to us. Had I known that, I would have left 2 more kids with me,
right?
And then would have made it much nicer for you guys. But you guys got the short end of that stick.
Well, you know what? But my kids did great. Your kids, who were much younger than my kids, I mean, I cannot believe how well they did on that, like not just my portion of the drive, but including everything up until that point. They had been in their car seats for ever.
They did all right.
I couldn't even see Tommy in the car from the driver's seat. Like he was just jammed in there.
Well,
and they did so great. There was the one funny thing with Joey. At one point, he was like, "I have to go to the bathroom." And so, and he didn't do that a lot, which I was really surprised.
He's not too. Jesse, actually, the one that was with me, is the bad one with that. He will always, and he wasn't that bad this trip, but past trips, man.
Hold on, that's really loud in our microphones.
Just open it real quick. He's going to open a bag of chips. Yeah.
So we stop, but when you stop, it's like everybody get out, not just the one kid. Like everyone's
got to try.
So what was funny is everybody gets out, and then we're at this gas station or whatever. So we're getting snacks and stuff. Like make it the whole. Like I'm going to get gas, even though I don't necessarily need to get gas now. Like
might as well.
This is the stop. Well, so everybody stops. I get gas. We get food, whatever. And we get back in the car. Everybody's buckled up, buckled in the car seats. And Joey goes, "Mommy, I didn't go to the bathroom." And that's the whole reason we stopped. So she got him back out, and he went to the bathroom. And then we had one more stop, like at 9 o'clock at night, I think, was kind of like, this is going to be our last stop. And she got him, everybody, that's kind of our dinner stop, even though it was 9 o'clock at night. It was late, but that's when we were finally like getting dinner food. And it wasn't great. It was all gas station convenience store food. There was nothing great there. And she got Joey a Gatorade, and 10 minutes after we're back on the road, he's like, "I have to go to the bathroom," and she's like, "Why do you have to go to the bathroom already?" And he had finished that Gatorade, and she goes, so your wife is like a little sheepishly, she's like, "Hey, so Joey has to go pee," and I said, "What?" And she said, "He finished his whole Gatorade." I was like, "Oh, he's got an empty Gatorade bottle," and she said, "Well, we can do that. And if you want us to do that, we'll do that. But I'm not sure he's going to get it all in the Gatorade bottle."
And he's used to peeing on the side of the road. I didn't do it much this trip.
I was kind of saying it as a joke, but I was like, yeah, he can't pee all over my wife's car. That'll be the worst part of this story.
Yeah. Well, and I made a mistake, too, because I was out of it when you guys were leaving the hotel, leaving us there.
Yeah.
And I had, I'd grabbed a bunch of snacks and stuff from our car when you picked us up. And so all I had was these these bottles, bigger bottles of root beer.
Yeah.
And so as I'm leaving, I gave one to all my kids that were riding with you. And you get down the road, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have gave them all a big thing of soda before.
It was all good, man. We made it back, unloaded, and it was crazy.
It was a crazy 48 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of tears, a lot of don't want to relive that. Not sure how to check that for the future, but it was. I did realize one thing. I'm done night driving. I'll drive into the night, but I'm not driving through the night anymore. Yeah, and I'm going to avoid Sundays as much as I can because that was another problem. Had it been another weeknight, like we would have figured it out.
Weekday, the next day.
Sundays, everything was shut down in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, and it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, and
Yep.
It was crazy.
Other than that, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. We drove through the night going out there.
Yeah.
And I discovered how much I hate 2-lane highways.
Oh, yeah.
So we hit Western Maryland, and we were making such great time. and we hit Western Maryland, and so we're Western Maryland to where we were staying. I think we still had like 3+ hours of driving, and it's 2 lanes headed east, and there's what it ended up. The traffic like slows way down. So we took interstates all the way out. Like speed limit's like 70, 75. So you're just flying across the country. And then you get to this like low slog, and the speed limit I think was 55 at that one spot, and we're going 40. And I'm like, I'm so close, and now it's going to take forever. So I started to get
that's the worst.
I started to get really agitated. So now I'm weaving in and out of traffic. My wife's like, "Why are you driving like this?" And I'm like, I got to get through this. I cannot sit in this. And what it turns out to be? Just some idiot going 40 miles an hour in the left lane, just because that's what he wanted to do. So I'm against, if I can avoid I actually avoided most of that road coming home just so that I wouldn't run into that again. So there was that. I did have an experience with disappointing hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had a disappointing hot dog?
Oh, yeah. Had actually, when we went to one of Zeke's soccer games when they went to States last year, and I got a hot dog there. It was the worst hot dog I've ever had. I opened it up. It was gray. And I knew it was not going to be good. I knew it was not going to be good, and I took a bite. I was like, "This is the worst hot dog ever." So I've definitely been disappointed.
Why do they make hot dogs that are not normal hot dog colors?
Yeah, why is it not? It's not hard to go and get a Ballpark Frank or a Nathan's or something.
Yeah.
If you work at a ballpark or anywhere, get a beef hot dog.
I think hot dogs are not good beat, but there's a standard issue good hot dog.
Yeah.
And then there is. So the first disappointing hot dog I had was a week before we left for the Thanksgiving trip. I hadn't eaten all day. I was stopping for gas. I'm like, I got to grab something. I'll just grab this. It's a $2 hot dog at the gas station. But it's already pre-wrapped in foil, so I can't see it. But I'm like, oh, it's a hot dog, right?
Yeah.
And I don't expect that the gas station is going to sell terrible hot dogs. I open it up. It's red. Have you seen red hot dogs?
They do that around here. Yeah, it's like bright red. They sell them at like the grocery stores and stuff. I don't know.
Why is your hot dog red?
It
throws me off. Didn't taste good, so I don't know what the red.
And it's not even. Yeah, it's not a real hot dog. I think they're called like Red Hots or something.
It was not good.
Not good. Yeah,
it was terrible.
Yep.
So the second disappointing hot dog story was on our road trip, driving through the night. Right, it's my shift to drive. I'm stopping for gas, and I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a hot dog. And I go in the store, and I can smell. I don't even know what state we were in.
Yeah.
I go inside the gas station, and I can smell.
State of disappointment.
I can smell like there were hot dogs cooking, and I go over to the roller. They must have just cleaned them all off because it was an empty hot dog roller. So I'm headed back to the cashier, and he's like, "Oh, we got other food over there," and I'm like, "Oh, there's other hot food." He's like, "Oh no, just cold sandwiches."
You never get a cold sandwich at a
disappointing hot dog number 2 was that there was no hot dog.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get for buying hot dogs at a gas station.
I guess so.
Well, I had speaking of food.
That was my fault. Sorry.
I did all the cooking because Susan's brother and his family were coming, and so they weren't going to get there till like noon or 2 on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And I like doing the cooking anyway.
Did you buy the turkey? You said you were going to buy the turkey here.
I bought the turkey here, and I put it in a cooler, and it rode behind the car in the
on the rack?
whole way to Pennsylvania. So we got there, it was starting to thaw, which was good.
Yeah.
And so I did all the cooking, which is fine. But a couple days before, I remembered my nephew on that side, on my wife's side, is like really allergic to dairy. He can't have dairy. Like at all. Like the whole family's had to change their diets, and they got to drink like soybean milk and crap.
Like it can't even be an ingredient.
You just can't.
Oh wow.
You can't have dairy, and I remember that. And I totally forgot. Well, what's the one ingredient that's in every Thanksgiving dish?
Butter.
So I told Susan, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, am I going to have to make like a second turkey just for him? Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. So she contacted them.
Oh, you make your turkey with butter?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The night before. When I thaw, I make sure it's all thawed out. I unwrap it and I spread the skin apart from the meat, and I shove butter up there all the way.
Really?
So when you're cooking, there's a layer of butter between the meat and the skin. It's crisping it up.
Really?
Oh yeah, gets it nice and juicy. And then every half hour, I cook it for 3 or 4 hours, depending on the weight. And then I take the tinfoil off so you can start getting the skin looking good.
Yeah.
Every half hour, I baste it in butter. So it's all butter.
It's all butter.
Every dish I do is butter. Thanks.
My nephew cooked the turkey for us.
AJ?
AJ.
Oh, really?
He's been really getting into like different menu options
Yeah.
and cooking different things, and he does that a lot with my parents, and so I was informed that the cooking method for the turkey was called spatchcock.
Spatchcock. I was gonna say. I couldn't think of the word. Oh, so he did that.
He did a spatchcock turkey.
Was it good?
I was concerned by the name. I'm like, I don't know what we're getting into here, Chief. He's like, oh, we're ripping the spine out of this thing, and
they
it's
do
like
it with like these big scissor things, and
It was good turkey.
Yeah,
it was good.
I've heard it's a good way to do it. It looks weird because it's all spread out.
Yeah. How does it look again?
Oh, Billy. It's all spread out. What movie is that from? Cable Guy. Cable Guy. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. Who was it? Oh, I just learned. Chris Farley. Because the whole way out to Pennsylvania, I was listening to David Spade's memoirs.
Oh, okay.
Chris Farley was supposed to be the lead character in The Cable Guy. He was supposed to be Jim Carrey's character.
Yeah.
And then there was another movie like a major movie that he was supposed to be leading. I'm like, what the heck? Anyway,
did they come out after he died, or why didn't they do it?
It was because they did Black Sheep. He was contracted, so he couldn't do these other two big movies that would have been really big for him. Anyway.
So we had spatchcock turkey.
Oh.
And it was pretty good. And they made a backup turkey. We had actually two turkeys.
Two turkeys. Well, you had a lot of people there.
We didn't even eat the second one.
Oh, really?
On Thanksgiving dinner. We didn't eat it.
Leftovers.
But I think they made it as the safety valve in case spatchcock didn't go so good.
I'm that way. Like, so my turkey. So anyway, they send me this butter that they're like, oh, it's vegetarian butter. And I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So we go to the store. And then we get this butter. It is called, and this sounds about as granola as it gets.
Yeah.
It is called, my wife texted it to me, Earth Balance.
Oh, boy.
Is the butter.
Yeah.
So already by the name, I'm like, this is going to be the worst turkey ever. It's going to suck because I got to use it not only for my turkey, but I got to use it for stuffing.
Is it just margarine?
No, it's not. It's like there's no. Yeah, it's. I mean, I would think it'd be like margarine, but
because isn't margarine just vegetable oil?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It was some vegetarian deal.
Did it work?
It was in a tub. So we go to the store and we get 2 tubs of this stuff, and I come home and I put regular butter on a roll and this stuff on a roll.
Oh, you do a taste test?
Did a taste test. I got to know what I'm working with.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell a difference.
Really?
It was just as good as butter. And I'm so shocked by that.
Yeah. Because the veggie burger
No.
is not just as good as a regular burger.
It was
but veggie butter,
pretend
as good as
butter, and it
regular.
was good.
I can't believe
I
it's
put
not
it in
butter.
everything. We put it on our rolls, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. My turkey didn't. It was a huge turkey. It was like a 26-pounder.
Barely fit in the oven.
Yeah, so I cooked it to where it said it was 10 degrees warmer than you're even supposed to get it. And but when I cut into it, it was a little underdone. But
Did you keep cooking it?
No, we ate the breast because the breast was done. But down below, we just didn't eat that meat. We just ate what was there. But
the Netherlands stayed down below.
It was just a little underdone.
And
no one got worms.
But
that
that's
I know
the meat
of.
you like.
Yeah, so I didn't get
That's
that.
the dark meat.
But I figure Christmas is coming. I'm going to do another turkey, and I learned my lesson. Always go, check it because I did check the temperature, but I didn't have like a real good meat thermometer. It was made for beef, and it was
Do you think that the veggie butter altered your cook time?
Could be, probably not, but
maybe it doesn't have the same sizzle temp as the regular butter.
It could be. I mean, it looked fine on the outside.
I'm blaming it on veggie butter.
Yeah, maybe that was my downfall.
But then. So that's
but it turned out good. It tasted good.
Mashed potatoes, you got to use veggie butter in your mashed potatoes.
Yep,
and
we did.
I
think potatoes we might have made 2 batches, but
what about your sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes?
Didn't you
used veggie butter?
Veggie butter and brown sugar.
Did it? Tasted fine.
Wow.
Tasted just as good. Yep. So it ended up being all right. I was a little worried.
Yeah, I would have been worried too. Anything that starts with veggie gets me worried.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I saw this sign while I was driving, and I was amused by it because I had to see it 3 times to get all of the words on the sign.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
Right, so I saw it while I was driving, and you're going 75 miles an hour. I'm like, I got the first 2 words. I'll see it again. Yeah. And I was like, I got the. So I am not paying attention to the road so that I can read the sign that says, "Distracted driving is the new drunk."
And it's true.
And so I was amused that I was distracted by the sign that told me not to be distracted.
I once read a sign, actually going out to Pennsylvania one time, that said, "The next text could be your last." And my thought was, that puts a lot of pressure on this next text.
Don't. It wasn't. I shouldn't text.
Yeah.
It was. If this is going to be my last.
It's going to be my last.
Gotta
text.
be good.
Gotta be good. Gotta be a
Right.
joke or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. Like, so when road signs are that long that are telling you to
know.
drive safer,
And
I'm like, it's
maybe don't distract me.
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe just don't have the sign,
Yeah.
or make it shorter.
Well, like
Text and die. Like it could be that short,
Yeah.
right?
Adam Carolla always says, because in California they have those signs everywhere.
Yeah.
And all the signs out there say click it or ticket.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got into a car that didn't beep if you weren't buckled up?
Our car won't shut up.
I know.
Yeah.
Any car made after 1975, like it
Right.
beeps. You don't need to put that on a sign. We know, like, we need to buckle up. And
Yeah.
it's not going to let us not buckle up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I would like the signs to tell you, like, well in advance that there's a problem up ahead, or
yeah.
lanes are closing, or something.
Yeah.
That never happens. Just super long ways to distract you, to tell you to not be distracted.
One thing I did, did you listen to our podcasts, like, on the
Yeah,
trip?
I did. Yep.
I didn't listen to all of them, but I listened back to a couple. And one thing that I found out is that when we eat, it is gross to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's
But-
chewing and slapping of lips.
I
and-
thought that, and my lips are enormous, so when they slap, they're
We both
making
have big lips.
Well, I'm the leader of the pack, buddy. Right? Right. You
I'll
get
give
in
that to
line
you.
behind
You're
me.
the MVP, but
I am apocalypse. So I noticed that too, but it would be dead air without it.
it's true. Yeah, we gotta.
And people want to know our take on foods that they already know what
They
they
want
taste
to know
like.
how it sounds when we eat. I think there's an audience for that.
They want to know what we think about ramen.
Yeah.
I did listen to the hot chip
Oh,
challenge
I didn't listen to that
episode,
one.
and I really struggled. Like, as I was listening to it, I
Dude.
was reliving the pain. You know,
did.
yeah, that was.
We
got
got to figure out another. That was a popular one too with the listeners. So
Yeah, maybe we
Speaking
should do
of-
the hot ones. Maybe
Maybe
we
we
should just
should.
do the hot ones.
We
wing.
should.
I
We
can try
should.
to make it through 10 wings.
And I will mention, like, our numbers have gone up. And if you're not already on our Facebook group, Two Broke Dads Podcast, look us up. Like, there's people there now. There's
My wife did some work on our
did.
trip. She was inviting people,
and
like
our
crazy.
ratings have gone up. Like, people are more people listen, so it's really cool to see it
Yeah.
growing here
Yeah.
at week 9.
Yeah,
Yeah. So one last thing I wanted to mention. How's your feeling about massages?
I've never had a massage, and I want one
I
because I
haven't.
am always sore.
I've never had a massage either.
Yeah.
But my father-in-law bought this super high-end robot massage chair.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's one of the. I'm sure I couldn't afford it. I think they're a couple grand.
oh
maybe,
yeah,
but-
they're like $3,500 for like a halfway decent one.
dude. And this one is halfway decent.
They change your
It,
life.
it changed my life. It made
Where-
me feel like a real man. Like it's.
Where are you if you limitless money, right? And you experienced, how many times did you sit in that chair?
Every day, at least once. Most times.
For how
twice. Well, about 15 minutes to a half hour.
All right, so you spent 15 minutes to half an hour for 5 days in that chair,
Yeah.
All
5,
right.
6 days.
and it was significant. The
It's
experience
amazing.
was significant.
It massaged your feet. It massaged your calves. It massaged
If
your
you could
back,
only have one,
vibrate your butt. Yeah.
massage chair or bidet.
Bidet.
Bidet, hands down, bidet, really.
Bidet, hands down.
I sent you a picture. I'm not going to say where I saw the bidet, but it was at one of the houses that we went to over
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And there was a bidet, such as you have described to me, that changed your life. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, maybe I should try it. Or maybe I should try this bidet. But that made me feel really weird because my first thought after that, maybe I should try it, was, you can't just use another man's
You
bidet.
can have self-cleaning. Like, they clean
I
themselves.
felt real weird about it. So then I thought I should ask.
Yeah.
And then the next thought was, that's even weirder.
It's even weirder.
So I didn't do it.
The thing about bidet is it takes a while to get used to it before it's really effective.
So hands down, the bidet over the
Wouldn't even be close.
massaging chair.
Wouldn't even be close.
Really?
Wouldn't even be close. I can't live without a bidet anymore. Nope.
What did you say? You told me years ago you had to go on some trip. Maybe you were back to Pennsylvania and you didn't have a bidet. And you said,
Yes. The summer before last, yeah. I don't remember what
I've
I
been
said.
cleaning myself like a peasant.
Like a peasant. That's how you feel after you've lived with a bidet. You do feel like, man, I was a peasant for years.
I'm
Yeah.
just shocked that the bidet wins over the massage chair because you're talking $35 versus $3,500.
It's not even close. When you understand the joys of the bidet, you'd never go back.
All right. Well, I didn't. I had the opportunity and I passed because I had so many weird thoughts in 20 seconds. Like, can't use another man's bidet. Got to ask for permission. Can't do that either. In my mind, it was like asking to borrow a pair of underwear. Like, I would never do that. And so I can't borrow the bidet.
You don't know what you don't know.
I guess not.
And same with everyone else in our family. I try to tell them the joys. I am a disciple, not a disciple. I'm an evangelist for the bidet.
You're
no one listens. I'm like
bidet. What's a bidangelist?
I'm like John the Baptist screaming about the bidet.
You're the crazy guy.
No
in
one's
the
listening to
wilderness.
me. No one's listening to me. It's
Clean
the end
with
of the
water,
world.
people.
Once you splash your back, you never go back. That's what I'm saying. World life changing.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, maybe I should have pulled the trigger while I had the opportunity.
You got anything else for this evening?
You know, I had a couple things, but I think we're well into our time that we typically do, so maybe we should just wrap it and tell the folks, the good people that are our listeners, keep it
Gooch Gooch.
on the Gooch Gooch, baby.
Thanks for listening and enjoy.
I've been cleaning myself like a peasant.